Hello and welcome to Yesterday's Airlines. In this video we're going to be taking a look at the NG models, Mexicana Boeing 757 N765MX, which was part of the releases from I think probably July, I think it came out. And we'll have a quick look at comparing it also to the other key 757 mold as you can see in the background. So as per usual with my reviews, the scores are out of a maximum of 30. You can get 10 for the mold, 10 for the livery, and 10 for the construction and print quality on the aircraft. So let's get straight into it and see how this Mexicana 757 fares. Now the 757-200 was the very first new mold that NG models hit the market with when they first appeared, and it is probably still my favourite. It is one of my all-time favourite aircraft, and this is a really excellent mold, and it's really a harbinger of what NG models are going to bring to 400 scale. It looks beautiful. I think that they've captured the essence of what for me is one of the most attractive aircraft ever made, really well. The nose shape is excellent. You've got this really fine and attractive landing gear. This is a Pratt & Whitney powered version, and the engines look really nice and hang beautifully on the pylons. You've got this really detailed and fine main gear here, which is a little bit delicate but works really well. Obviously we've got aerials, 4 aerials in this case, 2 above and 2 underneath. And a really nice tail area. So there's really nothing for me to complain about with this mold. It is, as I say, one of my favorites. I think it's really impressive, and the 757 was an excellent choice for NG because it's a type that had been really poorly represented, especially for non-American airlines. Now looking at the competition, we've got the JC Wings Gemini, which is a really old mold which they've updated, which is, all power to them. Generally it's got an okay front. The undercarriage is kind of been redone and it's now got rolling gear and everything. It's not bad, but it slightly pushes into the fuselage, as you can see there. It's just not quite as dainty and quite as nice as the NG, and it's still got the old cradle mold with the seams. These aren't major problems. This is actually still a nice mold, and I still quite like it, but it just doesn't quite have the same attractiveness as the NG. So even though I still think this is a nice mold, and if they were producing more of the sort of 757s I was keen on, I'd buy it. It really can't compete with the NG, which is really superb. So it's an easy 10 for me with this. It doesn't help JC with the fact that NG have actually changed the mold a few times. They've made some modifications. Certainly with the Rolls-Royce version, they modified the engines. They've got both the old Rolls-Royce engine styles as well, and it just means that you've got 3 potential engine variants, all of which look great on an already wonderful fuselage. Great mold. What can I say about the livery on this aircraft? It's not a particularly exciting scheme. Mexicana introduced this in 2005, replaced the green tail variant, which had come in from the 90s, and actually got rid of it only 3 years later in 2008 for a far more exciting blue and white scheme. So in this version of livery, they've got rid of the green, they've replaced it with this really dark blue, which kind of looks black sometimes, and really there's not much else going on. The old Aztec Eagle style logo now barely fits on the tail, which is like a bit of a design thing going on in the 2000s for a few airlines, and Taroom managed it, and I think probably a few others, and frankly I never really understood it. So you've got this really cool logo, I know what, let's not even try and fit it on the tail properly. It's not a beautiful scheme, but then again the 757 wears pretty much everything well, and it looks still pretty classy and smart. The essential elements are all here. You've got basically blue engines, you've got a blue tail, and you've got a blue stripe across a grey fuselage. There's really not much else going on. The Mexicana titles are good. It's got Mexicana.com on the engines, and the logo just hangs off the edge, just like it does on the tail. Everything's positioned nicely. It's got the little Boeing 757 titles, which I've seen in some photographs the aircraft doesn't have, but it's a nice representation. You've got all the reg and the titles on the wings, and also got the reg on the underside. There's really nothing wrong with this at all. It's perfectly done effectively, and you can see in the background I've got another aircraft in the same livery, but this is Aero Classics, and again it's matching. Aero Classics have done a decent job here again, though I noticed there actually does fit on the engines, but maybe it does on the A320. It's got longer engines. The colours look like they pretty much match, which is always nice when you're moving between fleets. Perhaps a little bit too dark on the Aero Classics, which is kind of classic Aero Classics. But you know, the NG version, no problems. It's another 10 out of 10. It's a boring livery. It's a simple livery to do, but hey, you've got to still turn up to produce these kind of liveries, and they have done so. So it's a 10 out of 10. It's a good livery. The final section is the printing, and as always, printing on NG is great. You can see there's a load of print detail around. You can see there's loads of print detail on the underside of the aircraft as well. It's got really nice gear doors and detailing here. It's got, you know, nice detailing on the rear of the tail cone too. It's got the nose cone ring, as you expect from NG. They can produce this kind of really fine and classy detail without damaging the look of the model. And you know, there's nothing wrong, there's no print spinches or anything like that. And also, as you can clearly see, you know, you've got really nice work on the engines here, which is really nicely detailed. So there's nothing wrong with the printing on this aircraft. It's great. And there's nothing wrong with the build quality, obviously, either. Everything's together, everything's there, everything's attached. You know, and I've seen some people, you know, casting a few aspersions around NG models recently in terms of build quality. Yeah, and I've received a couple of their models in the past with missing parts, but hell, I've got like over 100 of their models. So really, it's I don't think it's a big thing at all. And this aircraft is perfectly put together, so no problems. You know, and it's 10 out of 10. You know, I can't find anything wrong with it. You know, so it's looking pretty good. So a quick summary. You know, I really hate giving full marks to models because it kind of makes it look like I'm not doing my job. But you know, this model doesn't have anything wrong with it. The mold is perfect, the livery is boring but perfect, and the, you know, the construction and the printing is great. It's a full marks. You know, the only thing that you can complain about is the shape of the stand hole here, which is obviously unusual on these NGs and means that it doesn't fit any of the stands, which is why I'm having to wave it around in front of the video and not kind of twiddle it around on the stand. But you know, it's a beautiful model. NG 757s are spectacularly nice. I really like what they've been doing with it. My only disappointment is that they're not producing more of them because they've got all these modern molds like 787s and A350s and things to produce now. I'd much rather have more 757s personally. There's still tons to be made, especially some G-Regis and even some more Mexican ones. This is the third NG Mexican 757 they've made. Aero Classics also made one on the same mold, not as well. But yeah, there's Tiesa, there's the Green-tail Mexicana, and there are plenty to make. So there's plenty of cool 757s to be made. I really hope NG Models gets to them. They probably will eventually. And you know, you should be buying them because they're bloody awesome. So yeah, top marks, 30 out of 30. Now, hope you enjoyed the review. And as always, if you do, like the video, subscribe to the channel, and check out my website, yesterdaysairlines.com, where I do lots of reviews. Check out modelairline.com, where I do detailed reviews just like this one. And yeah, as I say, very few models get top marks. This one is an anomaly. So I hope you enjoyed all of that. Thanks for watching. See you later.